If I leave here with you liking me, then I really haven't done my job. Michael McLean, NoBullBook.com, BadassWorldBuilders.com on a very windy day. I think this is about my 346 straight video. I started late last November. I made a promise and commitment to myself that I would shoot a daily video every single day of the year for 12 months, 365 days. And believe it or not, I am around 14 days away from doing a complete calendar year. I haven't missed a single day of shooting videos, at least one video per day, emailing it to my list, posting it on YouTube, one single video every single day. I did it over holidays. I did it over Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. I did it in freezing temperatures. I did it in the Florida heat. I did it when I had the China virus. I had it when I shot videos when I was healthy, when I wasn't feeling the best, when I was motivated, when I was inspired, when I wasn't motivated, when I wasn't inspired. Every single day, I just made a commitment to myself to work the process. I refused to negotiate with myself, and here I am at 345 plus videos, getting close to the stretch. I'll be passing the 365 on the other side of Thanksgiving at the end of November. So just amazing what you can accomplish day by day. So I was, if you're put in a position where you're a leader of anything, whether you're the leader of your business, whether you're the leader of your family, whether you're the leader of a charitable organization, whether you're volunteering and coaching T-ball, whatever leadership position you're put in, I've always said that 1/3 of the people will love you, 1/3 of the people will be indifferent, and 1/3 of the people will dislike you. That is the reality of leadership. If you can't accept that ratio of people liking you, disliking you, and really having almost no opinion, then you should not be put in any leadership position. I've managed teams of 23 people in the insurance business. I coach pro hockey, amateur hockey. I've run teams of volunteers, young athletes, paid athletes, you name it. And the ratio for me has always been the 1/3 will like you, 1/3 will dislike you, and 1/3 couldn't care less either way. I have always had the goal, I always called it mature leadership, where I want to be an effective leader. I want to be known as an effective leader. I don't care whether I'm liked or disliked. I want to be respected, and I want to be effective. I want to be remembered. I want to be looked upon as a coach, as a consultant, as a father, as a community leader, as an entrepreneur, as a man who could win, a man who won championships at different levels. So that for that to happen, popularity is just not part of the equation. I don't care about being liked. I want to be effective. Which brings me to today's story. And I mentioned the quote, if I do my job, I used to tell my hockey players, if I do my job this season and you leave here liking me, chances are I haven't really done a very good job. My job is to teach you the game of hockey. My job is to make you a better person. My job is to demand excellence. My job is to enforce standards. My job is not to be your friend. That's the same philosophy that we need in our world for more fathers and grandfathers. Less friends and more allies. Less friends and more leadership. Less focus on being liked and popular, and more focus on being respected and effective as fathers, as husbands, as entrepreneurs, as business owners. So on Sunday, last Sunday, I have a little story to tell you. I'm on the ice on Sunday with my Junior Blue Wings program. I've been coaching it for the last 2 winters until we head south to Naples in the new year. So on the ice, I have about 20 kids, 25 kids every Sunday morning. And I really enjoy it. It's the highlight of my week. These are children age 5 right up to 14. And they're all beginner to intermediate hockey players. They're learning how to skate. They're learning how to play the game, ages 5 to 14. So all across the board, but all beginners and all intermediates. And I run these practices and these 90-minute workouts. I literally run them the same as I would run my professional hockey practices with pro players. I run them the same way. My 90-minute workouts are the same and similar to what I run with my Barclay Cup champion Blue Wings, my junior franchise. So the only thing I do is I make the drills simpler, but I don't make them less demanding. And when I tell people that concept, that principle of I don't lower my standards as a coach, I just simplify the drill. They can't, it's almost like their mind can't come to that conclusion. They're like, how can you demand as much when they're 5, 7, 10, 12, 14-year-old kids? And I just always shake my head and just think about how all we do is shrink expectations for our children now. We just keep lowering the bar for our school teachers, lowering the bar for our politicians, lowering the bar for our coaches, our volunteers, parents lowering the bar, okay? Just constantly lowering our standards. And what we expect is what we get more of. What we tolerate is what we get more of. So if I go and I run this Sunday morning program every Sunday, and my expectations are low for these children, and I tolerate laziness, I tolerate undiscipline, I tolerate lack of punctuality, I tolerate all the things that I do not tolerate in my normal life. Is that serving these young boys and girls? Is that me showing up as the best leader and coach that I'm supposed to be? Is that going to allow me to have the most impact on their young lives now and in the future? These are young boys and girls. In some cases, their families cannot financially afford to put them in competitive hockey. Some can, some can't. My daughter Emery is in this program because I coach it. But there's a lot of children in here that come from broken families. They come from families that are economic hardship. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of disposable income. And hockey's an expensive game to play. Like every other sport, it's become more and more expensive. So these children don't have a lot of exposure to other coaches. They go to school, their teachers are their mentors and their parents, but they don't have a lot of exposure to other coaches. And when I was growing up, I had exposure to other coaches who had a big impact on my life. You never know who's going to have a huge impact on your life when you're a young child, when you're a teenager, when you're a young adult. You never know. So for me to not show up, for me to lower my standards, for me to say, oh my God, they're just kids. They're just kids. They don't need to work hard. They don't need to do things properly. Is that me showing up as a leader and am I going to have an impact in my community doing that? And I just say, there's just no way that I'm going to do that. I'm going to give these kids every Sunday the best that I have. I'm going to run it at a pro level. I'm going to run it at a junior championship level. And here's the thing. The children thrive under structure and the children thrive under discipline. I haven't met many kids, whether they're children, whether they're teenagers, whether they're young adults, who don't thrive, absolutely thrive, under positive structure and positive discipline. because I've been running those types of programs, demanding programs for young kids, teenagers, and adults for 22 years. And the more demanding I've been, and the more structure and the more discipline, the more fun my athletes have had in the end. The more they've learned, the more they've grown, the more they've worked, the more fun, the more impact I've had. And now we live in a world where we're afraid of discipline, we're afraid of structure, we're afraid of placing demands and standards on kids. And then we wonder why they don't have any fun. Because we're hardwired for structure and discipline. We're hardwired for structure and discipline. And that's when my best teams had the most fun, because they're like, Coach, I never worked this hard before in my life. I've never worked for somebody so demanding. I've never worked for a team that had such high standards. I've never worked within a system of such discipline and mental toughness and structure. And I loved every minute of it. And we won. And we won. You don't enjoy things that you're not good at, and you don't enjoy things that you don't have a chance at least to win in. So when we don't work hard and we're not disciplined and we don't provide structure, guess what? We don't have a chance to be good at that thing. And if we're not good at that thing, we don't ever have a chance to win. It's like trying to enjoy the game of tennis when you're no good at the game of tennis. You don't have to be Roger Federer or Nadal, but you do have to be good enough that you have a chance to win some games. Same in baseball, same in golf, same in anything. We've got to have at least some ability, some skill level, but we also have to have that structure and discipline that we're improving. If we're improving at something, all of a sudden we're enjoying it. If you can hit that golf ball 5 feet further and straighter than you did last week, that's a win. We got to work hard, and we got to have wins for our children to enjoy things. And that's the way I run my sports programs. And it's interesting, on Sunday, I was watching the practice, and I have standards that are like this, 9.9 out of 10. I don't care that the kids are 7, 8, 10, 12. I don't care that my daughter's on the ice. I don't care that there's 14-year-olds. I go on what I see. Like the great Bill Parcells, I go on what I see. And if I don't like if I see something I don't like, I fucking well change it, or I deal with it. So I'm watching this practice, we're running this practice, and I don't like the effort that I'm getting from these 20 kids. They're running the drills, they're doing a good job, but they're not working their hardest. They're not giving championship effort. So what do I do in this situation on a Sunday morning? It would be very easy for me to ride out the rest of the practice. There's like 30 minutes left. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to cause any trouble. I don't have to waste my energy. I can just phone it in, mail it in, and we'll be off the ice in 30 minutes, and I can go to breakfast with my mom and dad and with my daughter Emery. But I'm not wired that way. I'm like, fuck that. These are the standards that I have as a man, as a husband, as a leader, as an entrepreneur. This is my life. This is how I live my life. My standards are my life. My life is where it's at because of my standards. And my standards are non-negotiable. Even when I'm working with young people, whether they're children, teenagers, mastermind members, I don't give a shit who they are. My standards are my standards. And like Parcells said, if I see something I don't like, I deal with it and fix it immediately. So I blow the whistle and I bring all the kids down to the far end of the ice. They all come and they don't really know what's going on. And I all have them on one knee. I put them on one knee in front of me, and then I drop down onto one knee. And I say to them, okay, I'll start talking when we have eye contact. I'm huge on eye contact. I don't care if a kid's 5. I don't care if a kid's 10. I don't care if somebody's 55. Eye contact. I look somebody in the eye when I talk to them, and I demand that they look me in the eye when I talk to him. That's mutual respect that I've always had as a coach and as a consultant. Eye contact at all times. When I have a meeting with my team for 5 or 10 minutes, eye contact. Mastermind members, eye contact. One-on-one consultations, eye contact. Teaching sports, eye contact. Business, eye contact. It's absolutely huge. So I have these 20 kids in front of me, and we get eye contact, and then I talk to them about what's expected. There's that word, expectations, standards, what's not going to be tolerated. And because these are young children, I'm not going to cuss, and I'm not going to yell, and I'm not going to be some kind of lunatic. But I want them to understand a couple of things. And number one is I want them to understand that I'm all in. I want them to understand that I care and I'm all in. I'm not out there on Sundays because I'm making money. I'm not out there on Sundays even because my kid's part of the program. I'm out there because I'm all in and I care. And people can smell your authenticity 10 miles away. They know whether you're all in as an entrepreneur. Your employees know whether you care and whether you're all in. You don't have to be likable. You don't have to be their best friend. But the one thing is that's contagious is they know if you're all in. Anybody that's worked for me, whether they've liked me, disliked me, or whether they're 100% indifferent, the one thing every hockey player will tell you, every employee will tell you, anybody that's worked with me is they'll say, that fucking guy is all in. They won't say, oh, he was toeing the water. They won't say sometimes he was here. They won't say he wasn't committed. They'll say that guy cared and he was all in. I didn't agree with everything he did. He wasn't my cup of coffee all the time, but that guy was all in. And that's what I want these young players to know. So I talked to them briefly for 2 minutes and I said, you know what we expect when we come to the rink? Do you know the one thing we expect? And I broke it down to one simple concept. When you step on this ice and your mom and dad bring you to the rink, we expect one thing. And you know, their little eyes are like, what's that one thing? The one thing is that you do your absolute best at all times. You're only out here for what? 90 minutes. I said, what is the expectation? They say, well, we do I said, pardon? Our expectation is that we do our best, our very, very best. Every drill, whether it's skating, whether it's puck handling, whether it's conditioning, whether it's a fun game, what do we expect? We expect, coach, that we do our very best. And then I said to them as a little bit of a wake-up call, I hope that they understand. I said, what percentage of children in Canada get the opportunity to play organized hockey? Hockey is Canada's sport, right? Hockey is Canada's sport. Bullshit. It's Canada's sport. It's Canada's sport for middle class and affluent. That's what it is. It's Canada's sports for kids that grew up like me, coaches like me. But here's a fact. 1% of Canadian kids, one single percentage of Canadian kids play organized hockey. Equipment, the whole deal, mom and dad put them in the teams, travel with them, 1%. So I said to the kids, I said, that means 99% of kids never get the opportunity to play this game in an organized fashion. Never, ever, ever do they get to come to a practice like this. So they don't even have the opportunity to do their best and work hard. And then I broke it down for them. I said, okay, so if there's 20 of us on the ice, that's less than 1% of 1% of the players out here that would get the opportunity to play organized sports. 1 out of 100. And you know what? Little kids, even even like my daughter, they think about that. They're like, man, not most people do. I said, how many of your friends are playing organized sport right now? A lot of them are like, none. Exactly. 1% of children in Canada get the opportunity to play organized hockey. 99% don't have the opportunity, don't have parents who bring them to the rink, don't have people that are going to spend the money. So when you come to this rink, it is a privilege to be here, and the expectation is that you will always do your very best. Period. Went back to the drills for 25 minutes. I never said a word the rest of the practice, and you should have seen the championship effort out of these children. It was go, 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 pace, 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 speed, speed, speed. I've never seen them work harder. I've never seen them work with more focus. I've never seen them practice with more discipline, and I've never seen a better championship effort out of every single player. So, did I serve them? Would I have served them by lowering my standards and mailing it in? Or do I better serve them by saying these are our standards and you're going to come up to them or there's going to be a problem? We need to start demanding more of ourselves. We need to start demanding more of the people in our worlds, and we need to start demanding more of the children in our world. I'm not talking about yelling, screaming, cussing, making a fool of yourself. I'm talking about expectations. It's a lifestyle. It's how you do things when nobody's watching. Nobody was there to watch us. We're just a bunch of kids out on the ice on a Sunday morning. But it matters to me. And you know what the big message that all those kids got out of that? Because I talked to some of the parents a couple days after, that I give a shit. And that's so important. You think back to the great teachers, if you had any good teachers and if you had any great mentors, what's the number one characteristic of that person? They inspired you and they maybe motivated you and they taught you some things. But that's not it. Somehow deep in your core, you knew that that person had passion for what they were doing. They were obsessed with teaching. They were obsessed with helping you. They gave a shit about what happened. And that's how great coaches, great consultants, great fathers, great husbands operate. Raise your standards. In the brand new year, raise your standards. It's the number one thing we need to focus on in this new year. Like blocking out all that negative noise in politics and news and anti-social media and all the crap that you hear. Block that stuff out, control the noise, and worry about raising your standards and expecting more from yourself and expecting more from the people in your life, including your family members. It's the greatest gift you can give anybody is high expectations. But it does start and end with you. It starts with it being your lifestyle. If you're cheating, if you're cutting corners, if you're looking for magic buttons, if you're taking the easy way out, you'll have zero credibility with the people you're trying to influence. But if you're first there and you're most prepared and you're 365 and you don't miss and you don't negotiate with yourself, then you'll have credibility. I told my teams forever, especially my older teams and my championship teams, I said, if you're ever in doubt, men, if you're ever in doubt what to do around here, on this team, if you're ever in doubt what to do around here, do what I do. I'm first to the rink. I'm well dressed. I'm in a suit and tie. I'm on time. I'm rested. I'm sober. I'm punctual. I'm prepared to win. Any doubts, whatever, do what I do. Do what I do. I'm on time, I'm early, I'm ready to go, I'm mentally focused, I don't have my phone, and I'm ready to prepare and earn a victory. Nothing more contagious than a positive example. What kind of an example are you setting for the other people in your world right now? Are your standards high enough? Or are they sort of up and down, up and down, up and down? Never ever will you achieve respect in that way. Everybody's watching, not some people, everybody's watching. And integrity and character, that's all forged in what you do day to day when nobody's watching. Whether you take the shortcut or the magic pill or look for the tweak or you look for the hack or something like that. I want the hard route. I want the hard route because that way I can look at the man in the mirror with integrity and respect. I want the hard route. I want it to be difficult. That way, when I win something, it's worthwhile. I'm not interested in the easy button. And the same should be for our children. We should be demanding a lot more from our teachers, our coaches, from ourselves, and from our athletes and our children as well. That's just a little story to show you the power of raising your standards, raising the expectations, and the unlimited potential in you, the unlimited potential in the people around you, and the unlimited potential in our children. So, brand new year starting up in January. How are you going to raise your standards, and who are you going to have to hold you accountable to keep raising them and getting better and better? BadassWorldBuilders.com is a brand new mastermind that I'm starting first week of December. If you want to apply, go to BadassWorldBuilders.com right now and apply. It's 5 questions, $97 deposit. I'll look at your application. I'll study it. I'll make a decision whether I'm the right coach, whether you're the right person, and I'll let you know within 7 days. But time is very short. Is 2023 going to be any different, or is it going to be more of the same? Are you finally going to start punching above your weight and invest in your marriage, your marketing, your money, your business, your relationship with your kids, your physical health, your mental health? Who's your coach this year? I have a coach. Every top athlete in the world has a coach. Warren Buffett has a coach. Every top performer has a coach. Who's your coach? Who's going to hold your feet to the fire? We're going into a year that's going to be even tougher than 2022. 2023 is even going to be more challenging. Who are you going to be joined at the hip with? 49 elite brothers who are going to keep you focused and on track, plus a coach that's going to hold your feet to the fire and make you accountable for performing, or you're going to try and swim with the sharks alone. This is a critical year coming up for you to have a coach and a brotherhood. There's nothing more powerful than association and environment, and this gives you both. The association with 49 other businessmen and a coach who's going to hold your feet to the fire. If you're finally ready to make 2023 not only a good year, but your best career year, for you to step up and be the franchise player in your life and build finally a championship world of your dreams that you never need to escape from, go to badassworldbuilders.com right now and apply. badassworldbuilders.com. Before the end of the day, do what I do. Make sure you hug your children, hug your wife, and tell them how much you love them. There's never been a more important time for every damn day to tell the most important people in your life how much they mean to you. Whether it's writing a note, whether it's writing something on the mirror, slipping a note in a lunch bag, whatever it is, just something every single day that tells them that you are there, that you've got this, and that you're their ally, that you're there for them no matter what, and that you got this. And stick your nose in their business. They don't need friends, they need an ally. They need a king, they need a leader, they need a lion. Be that man in 2023. 2 words that changed my life, and 2 words that can change your life. Be relentless.